You have no idea how badly this person has been trying to rebalance themselves after you. And I need you to understand that very carefully because with Temperance reversed showing up first, this is not the energy of someone who feels calm, centered, or unaffected. This is someone whose inner world has been knocked out of alignment by your presence. Not in a dramatic way they can easily explain, not in a way they can neatly confess, but in that quiet, frustrating, private way where they keep asking themselves why you still have this much power over their mind. Your sweet and dangerous vibe did something to them. The sweet part made them lower their guard before they even realized they were doing it. There is something about you that feels soft at first, gentle, warm, almost safe. You may have spoken to them with kindness, looked at them with understanding, laughed in a way that made the moment feel lighter, or simply carried yourself with a kind of emotional ease that made them feel like they could breathe around you. But then came the dangerous part. And this is what they have not recovered from. Because underneath that sweetness, there is something they cannot control. Something independent, something mysterious, something that does not beg, does not chase, does not explain itself too much. You can be warm, but you are not easy to possess. You can be open, but only to a point. You can make someone feel chosen in one moment and then completely unsure of where they stand in the next. That contrast destroyed their composure. Temperance reversed is showing me someone trying to mix two feelings that do not blend easily: desire and restraint, hope and fear, softness and obsession. They want to come closer, but the closer they get, the more they feel how dangerous it would be to want you fully, and they do want you fully. That is the part they are trying not to admit. They are not just attracted to your face, your voice, your body, or your energy. They are affected by the imbalance you created inside them. Since encountering you, something in them has felt slightly off-center, like their usual emotional control does not work the same way anymore. They are trying to act normal. But this card says they are not normal about you. And the longer they pretend they are, the louder the yearning becomes. And with this 10 of Cups reversed sitting here, I feel like that yearning is not just living in their thoughts anymore. It is starting to disturb the picture they were trying to keep intact. Because 10 of Cups upright is usually that emotional fantasy, that sense of ease, that feeling of everything being settled, safe, complete, harmonious. But reversed, it tells me this person cannot access that inner peace the way they used to. Something about you has interrupted the story they were telling themselves about what would make them happy. And they may not like that. They may be trying to say, no, this is just attraction. This is just curiosity. This is just a passing feeling. Give it time and it will fade. But their body is not agreeing with them. Their habits are not agreeing with them. Their reactions are not agreeing with them. They keep looking for signs of you in places where they pretend they are not looking. They hear something that reminds them of you, and suddenly their mood shifts. They see your name, your picture, your energy, even the idea of you, and there is this little disruption inside them. A pause, a pull, a frustration, because they thought they were more in control than this. They thought they could want you and still remain untouched. They thought they could admire you from a distance, taste a little bit of your sweetness, feel the danger underneath it, and then go back to normal. But normal is the part that is not coming back easily. And that is what Ten of Cups reversed is showing me. Their emotional landscape does not feel as simple anymore. Things that used to satisfy them may feel slightly dull. People who used to hold their attention may not hit the same. Conversations may feel flatter, distractions may work for a moment, but then the mind circles back. Back to you. Back to what you said. Back to how you made them feel. Back to the strange combination of comfort and unease that your presence left behind. And the more they try to suppress it, the more it spreads into the small parts of their day. Not loudly, not always dramatically, but persistently. That is the danger of trying to bury a feeling that is already alive. It starts showing up in behavior. And what scares them most is not even how badly they want you. It is who they become when they realize wanting you is something they cannot neatly control. And with the Magician reversed coming out now, that makes so much sense to me. Because this is someone who is used to having a way of speaking, a way of pulling back, a way of seeming calm, a way of making themselves look less affected than they actually are. The Magician upright can be confidence, skill, control, knowing what to do with the energy in front of them. But reversed, it feels like their usual tools are not working on you. And I need you to understand that. This is not because you were cold. This is not because you were cruel. This is not because you played some obvious game. It is almost the opposite. Your softness is what made them feel safe enough to step closer. There was something in your energy that did not feel threatening at first. Something that made them believe they could relax. They may have felt like they could talk to you a certain way, open up a little more than planned, let their guard slip for a second, show a piece of themselves they usually keep polished or hidden. But then they realized you were not just soft, you were self-possessed. And that is the part that exposed them. Because they did not expect someone gentle to also be so hard to emotionally pin down. They did not expect warmth to come with boundaries. They did not expect sweetness to come with distance. They did not expect you to make them feel welcomed and then, without doing anything dramatic, remind them that you still belong to yourself. That combination makes them feel unsteady. They may wait for a message and tell themselves they are not waiting. They may reread something and pretend it meant nothing. They may notice when your energy changes, when you pull back even slightly, and suddenly there is that tightening in the chest, that small panic, that quiet irritation. Because they were disarmed before they realized there was danger in needing your attention. And the Magician reversed tells me they cannot quite perform their way out of this. They cannot charm it away. They cannot control the narrative inside themselves. They cannot make your impact smaller just because it would be more convenient. That is why this yearning feels so uncomfortable. Because on some level, they are not only yearning for your attention, they are yearning for access to the version of themselves they felt around you. And with the Four of Swords reversed here, I feel like that version of themselves has not been able to rest. That is what this card is saying to me. Because Four of Swords upright can be quiet. Recovery. Distance. Taking space to calm the mind. But reversed, this is someone who has tried to put this connection away mentally and cannot fully do it. They may have told themselves they needed a break from thinking about you. They may have tried to sleep it off, distract themselves, let time create distance. but the mind keeps waking back up. And not just because they miss you, they miss who they were when your energy was close. That is the part that feels deeper than ordinary attraction. Because, yes, they may miss your face, they may miss your voice, they may miss the way you looked at them, the way you carried yourself, the way your presence made the room feel different. But underneath all of that, there is something else. You opened a door in them, a softer door, a braver door, a more honest door. Around you, they may have felt like they could breathe without performing so much. They may have felt relaxed, but alert. Safe, but challenged. Comforted, but exposed. It is like your sweetness gave them permission to lower the armor, and your danger made them realize they could not hide behind the armor forever. And I need you to understand that is not something people forget easily. Because when someone is used to being controlled, guarded, careful, and emotionally measured, meeting someone who makes them feel alive in a way they cannot manage is disturbing. It feels good, but it also feels unsafe. Not because you are unsafe, but because the feeling is too real. And Four of Swords reversed shows me they have not found peace with that. They may be lying still, but their mind is not still. They may be quiet, but something inside them keeps moving. They may not be reaching out, but emotionally, they are not as far away as they want you to believe. Because once someone connects you with a version of themselves they secretly want back, they do not let go easily, even if pride keeps them silent. And now with the Seven of Swords here, that silence has a very specific feeling to it. This is not empty silence. This is strategy. This is someone trying to move carefully around their own feelings, trying to take only what they can handle from this connection and leave the rest untouched. Seven of Swords is that energy of avoidance, calculation, holding back the full truth because the full truth feels too exposing. And I need you to understand this does not mean they do not feel it. It means they are trying to manage it. They may act distant, but the distance is not clean. They may seem controlled, but the control is not peaceful. They may pull back like they are unbothered, but internally there is a whole conversation happening that you are not hearing. Should I say something? Should I wait? Would they even care? Would I look weak? Would I lose power if I admit this? That is the kind of energy I am feeling here. Quiet negotiation, private resistance. Someone trying to protect their pride while still being pulled toward you. Because coming closer to you does not feel casual to them. That is the issue. With some people, they can flirt, disappear, return, keep things light, keep things surface level, and never really have to confront themselves. But with you, it feels different. Your energy makes them feel like they cannot just enter your life halfway and expect there to be no consequence. They cannot touch your sweetness and ignore your depth. They cannot enjoy your warmth and pretend not to notice your boundaries. You are sweet, but you are not naive. You are warm, but you are not easily fooled. You are magnetic, but you are not desperate. And they know that. That is why Seven of Swords feels so tense here, because part of them wants to sneak around the vulnerability. They want the feeling without the surrender. They want access without exposure. They want closeness without having to admit how much closeness would affect them. But that is not really working anymore. Because the more they avoid the truth, the more obvious the truth becomes inside them. Their silence is not calm. Their silence is full of rehearsed words, swallowed confessions. Messages they may have typed, stared at, erased, and never sent. And with the Knight of Pentacles reversed here, I feel like this is exactly where that indirect behavior starts to show. Because Knight of Pentacles upright is steady, consistent, slow, but dependable. Someone who knows what they are doing, knows where they are going, and takes one careful step at a time. But reversed, this is someone stuck in hesitation, wanting movement, but resisting movement, watching the path, but not fully walking it. And that is what makes this energy so frustrating, because they are not doing nothing. They are just not doing the honest things. They may check on you in quiet ways. They may look for updates. They may notice who is around you, who is liking you, who is getting your attention, who seems closer to you than they feel allowed to be. They may ask subtle questions through other people or bring you up in a way that sounds casual but is not casual at all, because they are gathering information, not just about what you are doing, about where they stand. Are you still open? Are you still soft toward them? Are you still affected? Or have you become untouchable? That is the question underneath all of this. And I do not feel like they always want to admit how much they are studying your energy. Not in a dramatic, obsessive way where they lose all sense of reality, but in that quiet way where someone keeps checking the emotional temperature without wanting to be seen holding the thermometer. They want to know if the door is still open without having to knock. They want reassurance without having to ask. They want proof that you still feel something without risking the embarrassment of revealing that they still feel something first. And the Knight of Pentacles reversed tells me their pride is making their movement slower than their desire. Their feelings are not slow. Their longing is not slow. Their curiosity is not slow. Their courage is. That is the difference. Because your sweetness pulls them in, but your distance makes them nervous. Your warmth makes them hope, but your silence makes them question themselves. And every time you do not chase, every time you do not over-explain, every time you simply remain in your own energy, it reflects something back to them. And the biggest surprise is part of them may already suspect that you know. They may feel like you can see exactly what they are doing. And that makes them feel even more exposed. And with the Hanged Man here, that exposure is exactly what this person keeps hanging in. Because the Hanged Man is not fast energy. It is suspension, waiting, seeing something from an angle they did not choose, but now cannot unsee. And that is what I feel happening in this person's mind. They are being forced to look at themselves differently because of the way you read them without needing to say much. Your dangerous quality is not aggression. It is perception. That is what they are feeling. You may not call everything out. You may not confront every shift, every inconsistency, every little performance, but they sense that you notice. You notice when someone's tone changes. You notice when the energy is slightly off. You notice when someone is pretending to be casual, but there is too much tension underneath the words, and that unsettles them. Because this person may be used to hiding behind controlled behavior. A delayed response, a calm face, a little distance, a joke, a change of subject, something that lets them stay protected while still keeping access to the situation. But with you, it does not land the same. You can be quiet and still see. You can be soft and still know. You can say very little and still make someone feel like their mask is not as convincing as they hoped. And I need you to understand that is part of why they cannot stop thinking about you. Not because you are doing too much. Not because you are chasing answers out of them. Not because you are trying to force some confession. It is because your awareness has a presence. The Hanged Man shows me someone stuck in the discomfort of being seen from the inside out. They may try to appear composed, but around you, their composure feels thinner. They may try to act like everything is fine, but part of them wonders if you can feel the truth moving underneath it. And the truth is, they want to be seen. That is the contradiction. They are scared of it, but they crave it. They feel exposed by your perception, but they are also drawn to the relief of not having to pretend so hard. Because being seen by you does not feel humiliating. It feels addictive, like you touched the truth underneath their mask without even needing to reach for it. And with the Seven of Cups coming through now, this is where the yearning starts becoming more complicated than they expected. Because Seven of Cups is choice, fantasy, possibility, the mind filling in blanks because the heart does not have a clear answer yet. And I feel like this person has been living in a lot of imagined conversations with you, a lot of what ifs, a lot of emotional scenarios they may never say out loud. What if they reached out? What if you responded softly? What if you did not? What if they admitted more than they meant to? What if wanting you actually changes the way they see everything else? That is the part that feels humbling. Because this attraction is not staying where they tried to keep it. It is not staying in the shallow places. It is not just you look good. It is not just your energy is tempting. It is not just they like the attention or the mystery or the tension. No, it is starting to ask something from them. And that is why Seven of Cups feels so intense here. They may have options. They may have distractions. They may have other doors they could walk through, other people they could talk to, other versions of comfort they could choose. But when they look at all of it, something still pulls their attention back to the cup with your name on it. Not because everything is simple, because it is not. You bring up confusion in them, desire, hope, fear, longing, restraint, surrender, all these things at once, and they do not know how to separate them neatly. Your sweetness invites them in. But your danger demands they become real. And that is what they are struggling with. Because wanting you exposes the guarded places, the prideful places, the avoidant places, the parts of them that are used to keeping feelings controlled, labeled, contained. But with you, the feeling does not stay contained. It moves, it expands, it starts touching questions they were not prepared to answer. What do I actually want? Why am I so afraid to be honest? Why does this person feel so different? And the more they try to reduce you to just a fantasy, the more they realize you are not one. You are a mirror. And the next layer is the part they cannot escape. They may try to replace you, distract themselves, rationalize this away, or choose the easier cup. But no one else is carrying your exact energetic signature. And with the moon reversed coming out here, that exact energetic signatures becomes even harder for them to dismiss because the moon upright can be illusion, confusion, fear, the unknown. The place where someone can tell themselves almost anything because nothing is fully clear yet. But reversed, something starts coming up from underneath, something they cannot keep hidden from themselves anymore. And that is what is happening here. They may have tried to tell themselves you were just different because of timing, because of chemistry, because of curiosity, because they were lonely or bored or caught off guard. They may have tried to make the whole thing smaller so they could feel powerful again. But the moon reverse says the truth keeps rising. Slowly, quietly, inconveniently. They may distract themselves with work. They may keep their schedule full. They may talk to other people, entertain easier attention, return to familiar patterns, or convince themselves that comfort is enough. And for a moment, it may work. For a moment. But then something feels flat. Someone may be available, but not awakening. Someone may be kind, but not magnetic. Someone may be easy to understand, easy to access, easy to manage, but they do not create that same movement inside them. And that is what they keep comparing. Not always consciously, but emotionally. Because your sweetness made them feel welcomed and your danger made them feel challenged. That is a rare combination. You did not just soothe them, you stirred them. You did not just make them feel wanted, you made them feel revealed. You did not just give them warmth. You made them question why they have been surviving on emotional distance for so long. And the moon reversed is showing me that the illusion is breaking. They can keep saying they are fine. They can keep acting like silence means control. They can keep choosing the easier path because it asks less of them. But deep down, they know the difference between something that distracts them and something that reaches them. You reach them. That is the part they cannot unfeel. So the real question is no longer whether they yearn for you. They do. The real question is whether they will let that yearning transform them or whether they will keep suffering behind their own restraint. And with the Fool coming through as the final card, I feel like this is where the energy asks for release. Not chaos, not chasing, not throwing yourself into uncertainty just because someone else cannot decide what to do with their feelings, but release. Because the Fool is not about proving yourself. It is not about convincing someone to see what they already feel. It is not about standing at the edge of someone else's hesitation and begging them to finally be brave. This is about you remembering who you are before their confusion tried to pull you into it. And I need you to understand that very carefully. Their yearning is real. Their imbalance is real. Temperance reversed showed us that from the beginning. This person has been trying to rebalance after being affected by you in a way they did not plan for. They have tried to minimize it, manage it, hide it, intellectualize it, distract from it, and still something in them keeps circling back. But your power is not in forcing the circle to close. Your power is in remaining whole. You do not have to become less sweet so someone stops underestimating you. You do not have to become less dangerous so someone feels safer approaching you. You do not have to over-explain your warmth, soften your boundaries, or make yourself easier to hold just because they are uncomfortable with how deeply you affected them. The right person has to be able to handle both. The softness and the edge, the tenderness and the mystery, the way you can care but still choose yourself, the way you can feel but not fall apart, The way you can open a door without handing someone ownership of the whole house. That is what destroyed their composure. Not because you tried to, because you simply carried both energies at once. And the Fool here tells me your next step is not to stand still inside their restraint. Let them feel what they feel. Let them face what they avoid. Let them decide whether yearning will make them honest or whether they will keep pretending distance is the same thing as control. Because they cannot stop yearning for you for a reason. You were never just sweet. You were never just dangerous. You were the exact combination that slipped past their defenses and showed them the truth underneath their own control. And that is something they will not easily forget.